Hi, all. This is Ben from Watch Crappens. That's Ronnie from Watch Crappens. That's Jake and Matt. I don't know why I'm starting it like this, everyone.
I'm going to do Ronnie's face.
That's Matt and Jake from holi-GAYs. Hi, welcome to the Crappens and holi-GAYs crossover event, part 2. We're recapping A Candy-Coated Christmas, available on Discovery Plus. And in case you missed the first episode, we spent 40 minutes talking about the first 2 minutes. And guess what? There's another 80 minutes. So guess what? You're going to be listening to this until next Christmas, okay?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. How you guys all doing?
Great.
Before we jump in, just
Wonderful.
a reminder, we're all 4 of us are going to be in New York literally the same weekend. We're doing Crappies on Thursday, the 27th, and you guys are doing 2 shows. The second one's sold out at Gramercy, which is amazing.
Gramercy.
So go to reality.
Literally the same theater, yeah.
Yeah, realitygays.com.
It's the 4 of us, the Sex in the City that you wanted.
Yeah. It's the true crossover event is where all 4 of us are coming. And just like that, we're all in New York City.
And just like that.
Okay, but right now, let's go from New York City to Peppermint Hollow.
Peppermint Hollow. And we're in the bakery of someone named B.
Yeah, B's
Who
Bakery.
we don't know.
Molly, our heroine, has just arrived from Los Angeles with her big city ways and condescending views of Christmas that she loves but doesn't love. And she's arrived, and now she's walked into B's Bakery.
Can I say, I don't think it's wise to open a restaurant that you just automatically put a B out in front of right at the start.
Yeah,
I mean,
That is a very LA reference.
Marketing.
But yes, we have B's, the classes of the restaurants. With a B, there have been 4 rats found there.
Yeah. So a little bleach fell into your food.
no big deal.
No big deal. Sterilized.
Yeah.
She's looking at the counter, and all of a sudden, like a ghoul, up pops the Pioneer Woman, and I scream because she scared me. And you scared me. Now, Pioneer Woman says things to her like, "Oh my God, it's Christmas! If you're from Los Angeles, Christmas is the best time to be in Peppermint Hollow." And she's like, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to Hawaii after this." "Hawaii? I've heard it's beautiful. I've never left Peppermint Hollow."
I know.
And
She has this like sad desperation. Like, I've been cursed by a witch to stand behind this counter and make brownie bites for the rest of my life.
I am so glad you said that. Mine is darker of what happened. I think she was some B was murdered in Peppermint Hollow, and we're now seeing her as a ghost, and her job is to make brownie bites. And if you eat one of her brownie bites, you can never leave Peppermint Hollow.
Now that's a movie. Now that is a
That
film
is good.
right there.
You
I'm
become
telling you,
assimilated. You become
That's how
assimilated
they
in.
get people. You can't leave. So that's
true.
why.
That's true. We can't give away the ending. But yeah.
She says no. Molly says no because she's like mint. Nobody likes mint. So she walks away from that. And I'm going to come back to this, y'all. The reason why I say that she's a ghost or a not real person from the other realm and she's trapped there is not just for the wooden acting, but just that she leaves and says to Molly, when Molly's leaving, "She'll be back."
Yeah. She does. She does get creepy with her.
And for the record,
I
by
wrote
the way,
down
Molly never goes back to that bakery the rest of the movie. Just so
True.
you know.
Right, yeah, you were wrong,
Ghost
Back
Reed.
to the town.
She actually, I wrote down Westworld Robot because she's
Yes!
she's very non-playing character in her role. Like, okay, so this girl's standing at the counter, and then, okay, it just looks like this. She's like, "Hi." Like, she just stands up, and she's like, "I didn't see you there. You were behind a glass counter. How did you not see you there? You're standing
not
right
see
in
you
front
there."
of her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the glass counter.
maybe she didn't hear her because there's like exceedingly excessive, which I guess is part of exceedingly, but just very loud jingle bells playing. Not the music, but there's just like these in the background. I'm like, okay, this is going too far. And then B has this obsession with mint. And I know they're in Peppermint Hollow and everything, but she's like, "So would you like a Peppermint Hollow mocha? It's our specialty." She's like, "Oh no, I'll just have like a latte." She's like, "You don't like mint?" "No, not really." "Are you allergic to mint?" "No." "So you just don't like mint? You're just like a crazy city person who doesn't like mint? Is that what you are?" It's like,
Yeah.
just
She went
accept
on a
it.
crazy-
Except she
But
doesn't want
the
the
way
mint.
Ree Drummond said that, she did say that. I kind of think Poodle is right, or Jake is right, because she kind of said, "You don't like mint." Kind of like a serial killer who, like,
I've been
disrupted
foiled. My
their
plans
plan.
have been foiled.
She did say it that way.
But
This
you
is
can
some
tell
dark
that-
shit.
You can tell that Ree is actually from California or has been there before because she is like a service person in California. Because when you're like, without this, they're like, are you allergic? Why can't you have it? Okay, does it need to be prepared on a separate counter from the mint? Okay. Does mint travel over to other counters?
They do. They do go in on you. They will ask you, like, if you ask for something, like if you get a pour over here, they're like, and you say, "Can I not do it? Why don't you want that?" That's how we do things here.
It's
And
true.
they'll go in on you.
They did that to my boyfriend last night at fucking Cantor's Deli.
Oh.
What?
Well,
Can't
Cantor's,
it's like
yeah.
whatever.
I know, even that Cantor's Deli, they're like, "Wait, do you not have milk?" And he's like, "No, I just want almond milk." And they're like, "Okay."
Well, and then at one point she's like, well, I'll just have I just want like a latte. And then B is like, you want that with mint? I'm just teasing you. And then Molly's like, funny. And then she's like, that'll be $3.99. So Molly gives her some money, goes, keep the change. And you know that Molly only gave her $4. It was just
Yeah,
like, keep the
that's what I
change.
said.
Yeah,
The whole
take this
penny.
penny.
Yeah, take this
but
penny,
also,
lady.
like,
Thank
one of the
you.
good things about going somewhere like Peppermint Hollow is you're like, oh my God, thank God it's not a Starbucks. I'm going to get a latte for $2. $4? What are you charging
It's
Starbucks
expensive.
prices for, B?
Well, it's the
Who fuck do you think
specialty.
you are?
It's the only bakery in town. She rules it like some type of like bordello madam. She's there just to take everyone's money.
So then,
Besides,
Yeah.
Molly's from California. She's used to being paying that.
but then on top of this whole thing, after Molly has said so many times she doesn't want mint, and now she's been stuck having this conversation about how B has like literally never been out of this tiny town in her entire life. I don't even know how she sources her ingredients or finds out about new ideas and concepts, but she's never been out of this town. Then B goes, by the way, brownie bite on the house, and Molly's like, bitch, how many times do I have to tell you? I do not want mint. I
It's
just want a
assault.
coffee.
It's really borderline assault.
It is.
With
It's
Ree
just
at
cruel.
this point.
It's really cruel, Ronnie. Thank you for saying that.
And you see in B's or Bree's eyes, I'll have to find another way.
Yeah.
Everyone likes
I've
Doom
never
her
left
to all
Peppermint
eternity,
Hollow.
so I can move on once to my resting
She's like,
place.
ooh, I'm going to have to call my friend Trisha Yearwood.
How many?
I've never left Peppermint Hollow, and neither will you.
And neither will you.
Mint brownie bite. Mint
How
brownie
many?
bite.
How many like marketing meetings do you think there were in like Silver Spring, Maryland, about like vertically integrating those brownie bites into the Food Network? Right? You know that was like, okay, on Food Network magazine, we now have to have a profile on the brownie bites. Okay, and you know they probably had a feature that was like, get the recipe for the brownie bites, just like in the movie. You know they were like, that's why they were pushing those.
But
brownie
we never
bites.
saw that. I mean, maybe it was on the Food Network, but even at the, this isn't giving, at the end of the movie, they show like some outtakes, and they don't talk about that.
You know, one thing that we haven't really talked about is the fact that this was the Food Network's first ever Christmas movie. This was aired on the Food
it
Network.
really was,
And so
actually,
I
yeah.
actually thought what was going to happen was that there were going to be some sort of like sly recipes. Like I thought there'd be some moments, like little tips kind of like woven through, little nods, or maybe like the cooking would be more germane to the story.
It
But
wasn't
it's
at
just
all.
Mint.
They didn't even present it. Look, I know I've already gone off, but they didn't even present this shit well. It's like she handed her a plate of poo-poos, little poo-poos, with some, green mint chips on it. It's like, could you present this a little
They
bit
looked
better? 'Cause
ugly.
They kept
It looked
closing
awful.
up on it. Yeah, it was bad. Like nothing was uniform. I'm sorry. I wanted to judge it like the baking.
Yeah.
The baking
Yeah.
or whatever.
So she walks out. She finally extricates herself from this horrific woman behind the counter pushing
Yes.
these mint confections that are not candy coated. And then she goes outside, and there are some horrific children who have
Oh!
like no boundaries and
Little juvenile
clearly bad-
delinquents.
little delinquents who've been spoiled and caught all their lives, throwing snowballs on a sidewalk, a busy sidewalk, the main stretch. Okay, like where is Officer Krupke now?
I know.
I literally yelled,
Bring him
"That is
back."
assault." 10 times during this movie. I mean, I was like, are rules just traveling more slowly to Jupiter or to Peppermint Hollow? Because you can't just throw things at people now, okay? You
We need
have to.
truant officers.
But like also like we're supposed to believe like this is the real way of life. This is what you really should be doing with your life. I'm like, being with all these unruly children throwing snowballs
No.
all over the place? No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
And so and I understand if they kind of know you. This is a stranger. This is a child throwing a hardened ball of snow at a stranger.
Well, I
It's
haven't.
just-
Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was just going to say, my mother would have grabbed me by the arm and said, Matthew Stephen Marr, you know better than that. What if
my
I
mother
taught
would
you?
have banged me
Yes.
upside the head with the wooden spoon she carried around in her purse.
But how do you even respond to being hit with a snowball in the face by a strange child?
Well,
You hit them.
She was
she
hit.
luckily,
Child.
she wasn't hit, Poodle, actually.
because
Yeah,
we've
she's
got
hit
more
on,
assaults. We've
hit
got
on.
more assaults.
Someone
okay?
like in a plane with lost puppies needing a home just flies in and rescues her.
It's like Kevin Costner. If Kevin Costner, I think actually Kevin Costner is a pilot.
He is a
seems-
pilot. Yeah,
I'm
he is
sure
a
he is.
Well, if
They're
Kevin
all
Costner
pilots.
were a model and he was rescuing dogs with his pilot's license.
But they don't really rescue. He doesn't really rescue her. He attacks her. I'm telling you, this
He
whole
knocks
movie
her
was
down.
assault.
He's like a
okay?
gr-
He's like. "Ah!"
It's also
Knocks
kind of
her
like
down.
condescending because, like, as obnoxious as it would be for those kids to like actually hit her with a snowball, she ultimately would have been fine. She would have been like, actually, she would have liked it. She'd been like, everything I thought about this place was true, and she would have been fine. But said this guy just assumes he's needed, and he jumps in and he spills that fucking coffee that she spent 30 minutes trying to order from the crazy lady behind the corner.
Yes.
At the counter.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he's like, hey. And she's just laying there looking up because that's like her running joke. Like, she's
How
like,
about an
look at me,
apology?
fell again.
Yeah,
a
I'm
rich
like-
person on the ground. So that's her thing.
There's all
It's
this
like you're-
falling. Like she told someone, she's like, "Hey, I want to be the next Sandra Bullock."
She told her
cuts of
dad.
me falling. I'm aiming for the reboot of Miss Congeniality. Put that in there for me, please.
And where are
I'm
the
so
snow
cute.
angels? You think that eventually she's going to say, wait a second, I can make a snow angel. She doesn't do that. She just falls.
Oh yes.
So,
Anyway,
Ronnie,
So
you were
he
saying.
tackles her, and she's like, Jesus, you're like Mitt in human form. Get off of me. And he's like,
Get out of there.
he's like, you
It's a human
kidding? I
form.
just saved your life.
Where's my apology?
He
Yeah.
has actually so much entitlement. Like he literally, we talked in the last episode about Frosty the Snowman and the entitlement that he has. He's like, look, I saved you. Now you do something for me, right? And now
Exactly.
it's like this guy is like, she would have been fine. She would have been annoyed, but she would have been fine. But now he
would have
doesn't.
been
And now he expects like a fucking date out of it.
I'm
Yeah.
a guy. I have to save if something goes down the street, I have to save you. That's just
Now,
it.
I mean, I will say, y'all, if you didn't watch the movie, I did immediately press pause on my Discovery Plus, and this is when I went into a deep Instagram dive of Aaron O'Connell because
Yeah.
he is hotter than shit on a stick. I mean,
I
he is
think
a
he's-
beautiful man.
I think he's hot, but to me, I was kind of like his styling was just like he didn't look great in the movie.
I felt like I was.
He's got great hair
is
and great
super,
lips.
He is like super hot, and I felt like the movie could have like did not really present him as hotly as they could have. Like
What's-
we know,
Yeah.
Matt and I know how hot he is and how
yes.
hot he can be.
Was
No,
he
I
ever,
looked him up, too.
Was he ever shirtless once?
Thank you.
Was he even in a cut-off shirt?
Like, or at least like show a little bit of like get in like some long pajamas with a little bit of cleave showing.
Yeah.
None of that.
Cleave.
So that being said, despite all my frustration about like the entitlement that he comes in, if the super hot guy just like threw himself on me and spilled my coffee, I'd be like, excuse me, and I'd just come out with like a tower of coffee, be like, does anyone want to throw another snowball at me, please?
Please. I just
Okay, I
got to get
wanna
one of those
show-
big things at Starbucks. The big.
I
like,
just
thing.
can't with this
No,
guy.
now, Ronnie, why would you choose
this
that
is like,
photo?
and
Oh,
it's-
Ronnie,
I'm not
that's
saying
not-
I don't think he's,
Ronnie, you're
he's
doing
of
him
course
dirty.
handsome, but of course it's like this is the guy who's like, it's my guitar, everybody.
Well, he's a model.
Yeah, I came over
But
for a dinner
once
you
I can
cooked,
pick
but
her
now
up,
I'm gonna.
I can
Well,
put her down.
he puts his plane on autopilot and he plays for the lost puppies as he flies them across country to new homes. That's it.
He
You know what?
he does look better in other photos, but they also couldn't. The styling, you couldn't even see what his body looked like. He was all
here you
frumpy
can.
in sweaters.
I mean, no, he's very fit. I mean, I will say, as Poodle's used, Poodle has a gift about things with certain men, and I think, well,
it's a pretty nice penis. I can just
There we
tell
are.
you just by seeing the
Oh, you
the
can
angles.
guess like how good the penis
Poodle,
is.
Yeah.
Poodle has a gift. Poodle has a gift.
I can't always tell you the length or girth, but I can tell you the general attractiveness level sometimes.
I would,
And
I would
this-
like
Really?
to. I would like to contribute
Okay,
a
let's
photo.
look.
Okay, I'm not happy
Holy
with
shit.
Ronnie's.
Wow.
I don't see anything.
I'm not happy with Ronnie's selection here. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
May I take this over, Ronnie? May I take over the screen?
Yeah,
And
sure.
that's where, if any of our listeners are like, "Oh, our reality gays, they're just like Crappens, but they talk about 90 Day Fiance and then they went, "Oh, Crappens doesn't talk about men's penis girth." So that's a little bit of a
Yeah, we're not.
Hey.
Yeah, we're a little more innocent in that regard. But it is like
me.
hanging out with you, and really, it is like hanging out with you.
I forgot how to actually add
hilarious.
stuff onto this. Ronnie, did you just do share? Is that what you did?
Yeah, go down to share and then
Okay.
push.
I like
push
this is now a
window.
tutorial.
It'd
about
be
sharing
like when
screens.
one of our listeners sent me an Instagram message. He said, Ronnie mentioned you on the show today. And I said, what'd he say? He said, well, they were talking about a sausage. And he said, if this were the reality days, they'd be totally talking about dicks right now.
Oh, that's a big old dick. That
Now
is
here-
that is
Thank you, Ben.
I'm
Thank
sorry. I
you.
just had to put up a proper photo of what.
that's totally like Abercrombie catalog
Total.
2008.
This is
Yeah.
Sean Cody 2004.
Oh, the
all
glory
of the
days.
above, all of
The
the above.
glory
We welcome all.
days.
We welcome all
What
of
we
Aaron O'Connell
lost.
in
The
every
paradise
form.
lost.
And I will say, as I mentioned the last episode, I did see him at a wedding, and I can assure you that in person, just gorgeous, just gorgeous.
And he's not too pretty. He's not.
I
he's
did
not too
think
pretty
his
in that
hair
way.
looked really good this movie. I thought his hair always looked good. But he
He's
probably
aging-
didn't
I'm
fix
so
it himself.
He's
I'm just
aging
so
into
sick of,
young Josh Brolin.
I'm sick of hot guys just getting everything. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, he's hot. Who cares? Okay, he's gonna be ugly soon."
Agreed.
That's the
well, that's
fair
the fun
thing.
part.
in life,
That's
all
that
right?
when you're like released from their power. That's the best part.
And exactly, I love it, Ronnie, that you're so terrible like me.
But I
yeah. Why
Just
not?
mean, really-
so vile. Thank
y'all
you.
are way more alike. And I'm telling you. Can we
so
talk
vile.
about how he just really isn't even like, he's supposed to be this nice guy from a small town, but he really
He's a
isn't like
dick.
that
He's a dick.
apologetic to her about running into her. He's like, yeah, so what? I saved your life. Get used to it. Love mint.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
he's
he's
not
a
only is he
total
not
asshole.
he doesn't not even apologetic. He demands an apology. Actually,
Yeah, he
he
demands
says
it.
you owe me
Yeah.
an apology. Which I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me, you're the one who actually volunteered to insert yourself into this situation.
It's like he saves people to get an apology from them, or to
Yes.
to like
Yeah.
that's his whole goal in
That's his
life. When
kink.
people say, "Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry I did that." Thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate
He'll
your
push you
apology.
out in front of the bus just to grab your sweater and pull you back and be like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, you almost got hit by that bus."
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I play the guitar. Want to hear it?
So he
Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Shut up, hot person.
dogs.
so he introduces himself. His name is Noah. Very biblical.
Because of course it is.
Very biblical.
Yeah,
And I will say, I've never met a not hot Noah.
Agree.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's actually,
I definitely have. I'm just over here like, grr.
He's like
maybe like the original Noah.
Maybe the original, yeah.
Original Noah's probably
Shave
not
the
that hot.
beard. He was still hot.
Yeah.
I can be. He was hot at 300.
But he smelled because he lived with like 90 animals. You know?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm sure he loved a good DP because he's always up for two.
Jesus. Even I think that was clumsy.
Why is it that when we get to the Bible you get like that? Like anything else, you're fine.
It's the
But
recovering
we get-
Catholic in
photography,
me.
you
It's
mean?
the recovering Catholic.
Yeah, director of photography.
He
Yeah.
loves
You
a
were
good
a
director of
Catholic?
photography.
weren't you a Baptist?
No, Catholic.
know-
I was raised Catholic.
It's
wow.
weird. It seems like he should be that like Jesus fucking.
I almost
like,
became a priest.
crazy youth pastor, but he's
I
not.
still love Jesus and all that too. So I just feel
I
like
could see you. I could see you as a priest.
yeah.
Because you're like
sure.
a therapist and stuff. You do
Yeah.
all the good stuff. Yeah. Gay people can be priests. I mean, I know plenty of them.
But they can't go to heaven.
Yeah. You just can't act on it.
If you can't go to heaven, at least go to Bee's Bakery, right? So
If you're going to be gay, just do it inside here. Use your inside gay.
Sorry,
Don't
okay.
be
Inside
into
gay.
same-sex attraction.
Sorry, y'all. We're now just on minute
okay.
4.
So now the point is this. He's like, you owe me an apology. No, you owe me an apology. Agree to disagree. I'm Noah. Can I take you out or something? Like she's just like actually
Yeah.
a little too much for just a snowball situation. And of course, if I were her, I'd be like, yes, of course we're going out. You're hot as fuck. But instead, she's like, I have to run because I'm a city person who hates Christmas. Okay, and I'm gonna sell a person's house who is probably not in this conversation. Okay.
Yeah, so she's walking down.
She's like,
the
I'm never going to
sidewalks.
see him again.
Thank God.
Ever.
Which we all know, when there's only
The
two
meet cute.
good-looking people of the same age in the town, they always run into each other again.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's walking down the sidewalk in her terrible outfit and her cheap purse and a cream sweater. And she goes to this closed place, and she's calling it. She's like, Patrick, I have an appointment at 11-ish. I have a property I wanted to sell right away, so if you just call me. I'm going to text him. I'm going to email him. I'm going to call him again. Where are these small-town work? Lady, you're trying to sell a house on goddamn Christmas.
Yeah.
Which was it Christmas Eve?
But it's also
Someone
this like
open my door.
But it's also this narrative like city people with their schedules and their business not paying attention to the important things in life, like going to the local store and buying milk out of a jar.
City people with their showing up on time.
They don't care about people being people and needing a break.
I'm sorry. I have to separate from the pack here because I just went to a Christmas thing last week. There's hundreds of people out there. We're in this little tiny town. My mom just wants to go to this one store. You get to the store, be back. Well, what the fuck does that mean? There's hundreds of people. Are you closed? Be back. So. You know, it's like that's a little town thing. It's just like, well, I'm going to go to lunch, and I ain't going to tell you what fucking time I'm coming back. How about that?
That is true. But I actually feel like, especially in California, no one ever is on time. Like no one's on time in LA,
No.
I don't think. So I think they would be it wouldn't be a big deal. But whatever.
I just know that anyone who sells a house is the thirstiest person alive, and they're gonna want to be there.
Yeah,
they're gonna
also,
be. Yeah.
What bothers
That's
me is that
true,
like
yeah.
later on, Patrick is super aggressive about like meeting up, and I'm like, sir, you missed the first appointment. You established the pacing of this relationship, so don't get all huffy when she's
And I
not
thought,
ready
yeah.
to see you. Okay,
And that's
maybe
more
she's
normal
someone.
for a real
We're
estate
gonna have
person.
a gay realtor, please. That's it. We're gonna have a gay realtor, right? Nope.
no. Well, he may have been.
No, there
He
are
just
no
may have
gay
just-
people. There are no
He may
gay
have
people in
been.
this
He
town.
just may have been a bit more masked.
I know.
So,
we
so now
even
that,
mentioned people of a Jewish faith later, and it's extremely poo-pooed very quickly.
very quickly.
Ain't
Yes.
no Jews in Peppermint Hollow.
We've already established there's no carbs. She's already y'all. She's mentioned she doesn't eat. She's already told us to know that she doesn't eat carbs and like ever, because that's what Californians
Ever.
That's
don't
what
do.
girls do.
That's what girls do.
Girls don't
We're
understand the
done.
real meaning in life, okay? The real meaning of
Exactly.
like what it means to live and be in America. You know, they don't eat carbs, you know? They're
I
fancy.
don't even remember. I don't even remember how she gets to his house. Like I was still in a
think
daze
she's-
spinning from what was happening.
She's
She has
driving
a rental car. She got a rental car
yeah,
from the
because she
big
lost
city.
the keys. Okay.
She
Yeah,
and also
she got a
y'all,
rental car.
she could have bought a coat at the airport. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
this
didn't
idea.
like this whole
yeah. Ugh.
that she was like,
all
no,
I've
she's gonna
gotta
have
say.
like this strident, independent spirit when it comes to like her body temperature.
Oh, there's a great quote about that later.
So
There-
okay, so let's go back in. So now we get the Christmas song. Christmas! Christmas! The worst.
It's like
but it's a different one, you know. 'cause-
Christmas.
Christmas. So, God, man, I just keep writing terrible outfit and assault. So her shoes don't fit either, which we learned in this scene. So Molly gets to this house, and the teenager answers. Dakota, we find out later, but Dakota
Okay.
answers, and she's like, "Are your parents here?" And she's like, "They died when I was a teen, when I was a baby."
What?
That's-
no boundaries.
that's
That was
her-
another what for me.
That's her first line of dialogue.
To
That's
a
why
stranger.
I'm just calling her orphan girl. I don't even remember her name.
I need to say this, and this is another theory. She's a ghost. Do you feel like this role was written for a 10-year-old girl, and
Yes.
this is what they got?
Yes, I think so. Because this
I
girl
could
was,
not.
she was a little too attached to like the family for
Well,
being
she says things
whatever
like,
age she is.
I made a lip balm, and or she's a slow 18-year-old.
She's-
One or the other.
She's she's just like really emo and annoying about it. Like, yeah, my parents died. You know, it's like I'm gonna write something for like I'm gonna write a poem. You know,
And she talks about her piggy bank later. And
weird.
It is weird. I was like, wow, you're the only person in this movie who saves money.
But it's like I don't know. I could not. If you told me this girl was 13, okay. If she told me she was 22, I'd kind of believe it either way. It was weird. She didn't have an
weird.
age.
The fact that she
Yeah.
led with my parents died when I was a baby. That's a real, unless she's just so fucking sick of telling it. She's just like, I just got to get out of the way and just do the shock effect and just see what they do. You know,
They died when I was a baby.
But nobody
That's
really
maybe-
cares.
and I live with my uncle and my grandma. Okay, great.
But when
We
people
established
ask
that.
you that, they don't care. Like, they don't want to know. It's like when you say, how are you to a stranger? I don't really care. I'm just saying, like, hi. It's my
Hi.
way of saying hi, you know?
Yeah.
Save your history, lady, all right? I haven't even had a mint brownie bite.
So then
Think I care about this?
we hear a booming, sexy voice say, "Who is it, Dakota?" And then guess who steps in?
Hottie McHot
It's Noah. He's made
It's
it home
Noah.
before. Noah is there.
With his mouth open, of course. He's
Care
like,
to apologize?
You know,
finally
he does have his
apologize.
mouth. I will say, he does have his mouth open a lot, right?
Yeah,
he's
it
like,
is
wow,
a mouth
look.
breather.
Right.
He's like, look, I saved that girl in town.
He,
Yeah,
he's
look,
a
like,
mouth
you did
actor. He is an exasperated mouth actor. He does a lot of.
not. Yeah, mouth actor. So she's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, killing her parents. What are you doing here? And she's like, I thought I'd get a tour, I guess. And he's like, we don't give tours of our house. And she's like, not even to the owners.
And he's like, what? And he goes, but the Gallants own the property, because he's very slow. He doesn't like pick it up. He doesn't pick up like
No.
that she just said that she's the owner. He's like, well, guess what? The Gallants own it. And the Gallants have a daughter named Molly who's blonde and about your height and looks like you in the pictures. So that's who I'd give the tour to.
Again, I'm going to ask for ID. Like, he didn't even ask for that. I would
Yeah.
have.
Well, he's still trying
Then-
to get that date. You know, it's sort of an
Yes.
awkward move if you ask for ID before you can get to the date.
His mom comes up behind them, Kim, and says, "Oh," and the thing is, you guys, they know that the owner of the house is there. So put 2 and 2 together, or 1 and 1 if you're that slow.
Yes.
You know someone's, and especially if you've been behind on the rent, if the first thing that you say isn't, "We'll get you the rent, we promise, slumlord." But
Yeah.
no one, and then, so he's so stupid, he doesn't get it. Mom, I think, gets it immediately, because she's like, "You're the spitting image of your," this woman should have been cast with an Irish accent. "You're the spitting image of your mother." Because she's
She knew.
that
She was like,
style
I'm
of
gonna
a
play
character.
I'm going to play the sentimental card and make sure this girl does not collect
Exactly.
that rent.
I don't
Right?
want
I'm
to
gonna
get
talk about her
kicked out on
mom.
Christmas.
And
Yeah.
besides the pioneer woman, I forget her name, but this is the
Kim.
most famous woman actor in this
Oh,
movie.
Was it
she's
Mercy?
been,
It looked
she's been
like-
all
This
kinds
is
of
Lee
stuff.
Garlington. Is
Lee
her
Gar-
name. I'm looking. She's
get-
been in a lot, but she's a soap actress, right?
She was good,
she's done a-
actually.
the
this
little
woman
things.
She was good.
This woman lied to me because when I got into SAG, I went to my SAG meeting and she was the SAG representative.
Shut up.
And she told me that if I kept being an actor all of my life, I would get this wonderful pension. We'd be able to quit our day jobs. You just have to commit to the union. Commit to the union. I just got a check from Modern Family for 39 fucking cents and I don't have a pension.
Wow.
This woman is a crook. She was
Wow.
going to
Scab at you.
Wow.
Well, look, I'm going through her IMDb now, and she was in a 2-parter episode of Medium, which is one of my all-time favorite shows.
She's done a lot. She's a great character actor.
She was
It
actually
is
very
the
good
longest.
She was good.
It is
She was the best
longest
thing in
Very
it.
thing I've ever read.
understated. I actually really enjoyed her. She sort of gave me a Mercedes Rule energy.
Yeah.
So she's like being all like, "Oh my God, I remember when you were a kid. Don't evict us. I remember your mom. I remember your mom."
You're right. You're right. She totally knew from the
She-
get-go.
she knew.
And then she kind of like shades her. I felt like this was shade. She was like, "You look like you're dressed for Hawaii."
Hawaii. We don't know about Hawaii and
What is
peppermint holler.
this state that's not attached to the 48? What is this?
Yeah, you look like you're dressed like you're gonna go to a Big Lot sale to work in Hawaii. Okay?
Yes.
And Molly's like, "Well, that's where I'm headed after this, to Hawaii." And Kim's like, "Oh, you're serious? Well, let's get you some boots or something if we're gonna take a tour." And she's like, "Boots? I don't need boots. I love falling down. It's my thing. Should I do it right now?"
And Noah's like, "Be careful on those steps because you're just a silly lady who doesn't understand stairs and shoes." And she's
Yeah.
like, "What? I'm a lady from Los Angeles. I know it all." And then she falls over and then is in the snow again.
She goes,
Yeah.
She also, by the way, she also
She's like, "You
announces
knew that was gonna happen." And he's like, "No, I didn't." Yeah, he knew when they told you to put on some goddamn boots.
It's called Ice Lady. By the way, she announces that she's going to Hawaii so many times. Like, she's not. She's like, I'm definitely going to Hawaii tomorrow. I can't wait.
Yeah.
They really tee that one up.
It's pretty clear. I also just want to, and this is kind of, but I'm going to talk about this probably a lot, but I just want to say, who from Home Goods decorated this house? Because holy fuck.
It's out of control.
That's it. It is.
Well,
it is bad.
I want to
out of
know
control.
who's cleaning it because this house does not look clean. I mean, I could smell cat pee. I could smell the cat pee, and there's not even a cat.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
one
I
of
can
those
smell
houses,
dust mites.
Yeah.
That
Also-
kind of, yeah.
Also, like, you're behind on your rent, and you're clearly still going out and buying new decorations.
Thank you.
It's like, hello.
Yeah, and that's
like,
thank you.
Sell
No
your
one's good
Sub-Zero
with
fridge or
money.
something. I mean, what's
someone's Discover card is maxed.
like?
You guys, literally all they do in this movie is spend money, this family.
yeah,
like
that's
every
it.
time you see them,
Yes.
they're dropping money.
They've got $300
terrible.
left on their Diners Club, and that's fucking it.
I mean,
Also-
it is every single inch of this house is decorated. I'm like, and you know what? That costs money. You're behind on your
And
rent.
it's-
You don't have to decorate the room that no one's sleeping in.
It's like when people decorate their toilets in their bathroom. I love Christmas, but that freaks me out.
yeah.
Speaking of, I want one of those toilet lights you put in there, and it's like turns colors. I'm getting one of those.
But like, you'd
I
think
saw it on Facebook.
Noah can install it for you.
Hot cocoa is a luxury.
Yeah.
You're
It is
sitting
a
here,
luxury.
and it looks like she's like, I made this purely, and we're gonna make cookies and blah blah blah. They're cooking bacon in the next
cooking-
scene.
Girl,
Bacon,
they have
bacon.
They have 5-course breakfast with a whole ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're so poor.
The whole
And-
ham. What
yeah.
is that? And that's not. They're not leaving anything. I mean, they're not eating that all. Where's it going to go? They keep cooking. It's like eat your leftovers. Save your money. Clip a
Yeah.
coupon. Come on.
Okay, so for this tour, he takes her to his greenhouse.
Yeah.
This is such a fucking guy thing to do. She's
Yeah.
like, "Wow, can I see this house that I kind of grew up
see my
in?
work.
That my dead mom spent all this time in." That's and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can get a tour of the greenhouse."
I know, it's like, and you think like for a moment you're like, oh wow, now this is getting interesting. It's like it's pot, like an entire like greenhouse of pot.
That would be a
twist.
great movie.
But it's just
He's like, "You want to watch me? You want to watch me play football on the PlayStation?"
yeah, and then he's like so proud. He's like, oh, look at all this mint I've grown. You know what they say about mint? It grows like a weed. Everyone always says, don't plant mint with the other things because it takes over. So congratulations,
acting
you
like
did the
a
easiest
mint.
thing.
You grew the
Acting
easiest
like-
thing, yes.
Also, no wonder you
cracking
have
up
a
at that,
surplus
too.
of it.
Yeah,
Or-
and you're not selling it. You're just basically killing mint right now. Is
Yeah.
what you're
And
doing. It's like
did
a
you-
mint slaughterhouse.
And he explained a greenhouse. It's like,
Yes, thank you.
The greenhouse,
Thank you.
not sure if you're aware, but the greenhouse is 30 degrees warmer than the outside cold. She responds with the strangest statement. I can't believe this was written by an actual person and not a computer that spit out. She's like, huh, I wish I was 30 degrees warmer than the outside cold.
You'd
I
be
went-
dead. You would
be
be
dead.
dead. You would
No,
literally
it
be
just
dead.
it was such a weird. It's like, you know how you see a movie or you read a script and you're like, I wish they talked like people.
They
I
don't
know.
talk like people.
They don't talk like people in this.
It's like,
screen-
I mean, this
movie.
is, there's another part where she's on the, which I'll talk about, I'll point that out. Yeah.
But why is he telling her? Why is he? Is this like to say? Is this? Did someone? I'm getting so flustered. Did some executive read the script and say, "I'm afraid someone's going to watch this movie and wondering why those plants are alive in the middle of winter"? So can we explain why
I
they're
think
growing?
you're right. But you know what I did? I'm one of those people. I was like, wait a minute. What's happening here? It's winter. How is this working?
How does this grow? I never
like
liked
that
it
I'm
when
the
Frosty
sample.
died in that greenhouse.
I like that I'm the real life sample for all the stupidity in this movie.
I was hoping he'd be like, "Oh, I wish I weren't dressed so warmly in this hot greenhouse." Then shirt comes off. I was like, "Okay, we can set up for that." It doesn't happen.
Right. So he's like, don't worry, you get used to it. She's like, 70. That's what I like because I'm from LA. Hope that mint doesn't have any gluten in it. Oh, fuck it.
yeah, he also makes, every time they talk about she digs mint, his go-to is a kale joke. I just there's like
That was
5
weird.
kale
10
jokes in this
years.
movie.
This is 10 years
Yeah.
behind.
I know.
Kale.
Yeah.
So she who's like apparently never encountered mint goes, that mint smells so minty, and he goes, yeah, well, well, when you smell mint, your brain releases mood-determining hormones into the body. It's a natural relaxer. It's like, thanks, sir.
Yeah,
we don't
Brought
need
to you
know
by the Mint Advisory Board.
Yeah, the mint lobby
I know,
of
just
DC.
like pee starts trickling down her legs. He's like, you'll get used to it. Just saliva's coming down. It's like, okay. All her muscles are going down.
That
Bring her
warmth
in.
is good. You'll get used to the pee. You'll get used to it.
So the teenager comes in and she's like, hi, not my mother because you're living. Gran wants you to stay for dinner. And she's like, gross, dinner, ew.
Ew, I don't get carbs.
And then,
Yeah, what is it, a mint roast?
and then
No thanks.
and Noah leads with, she makes the best mashed potatoes you've ever eaten. Now, look, I love mashed potatoes, but like there's sort of like an asymptotic like level. Like it can only get so
What?
far.
What's an asymptotic? Oh, I love
Asymptote
it.
is like something that you approach, but you can never quite get to. But like the point is, there's like an upper.
I didn't know either.
I was
Sorry,
with you,
I thought
Ben.
with all this smart talk about greenhouses and natural relaxers, we could talk scientific.
I used that
love
word
an
in a paper
asymptotic.
once.
But either way,
My
they're
God.
like, I mean, like I feel like if someone said to me it's the best mashed potatoes, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm gonna stay for dinner for that. Like if someone said
Yeah.
the most amazing turkey or whatever, maybe.
Fried
but-
chicken,
Or
which
like
there was.
a beef bouillabaisse, but it's just the most basic thing.
She just goes to the most.
Yeah, mashed potatoes.
And then so she goes, oh, I'm staying away from carbs, which I think is actually a very reasonable response. A little rude to say to people who are inviting you over, but then she says, I'm staying away from carbs, and Dakota says she also made apple pie for dessert. What part of I'm staying away from
No,
carbs says let me add apple
Dakota-
pie to the mix?
Dakota
It's
doesn't
fruit.
It's got fruit in it.
It's fruit.
fruit. It's you know, it is healthy.
I
Does she
go
not
back to
know?
say that Dakota may be a little slow.
Yeah.
And then
So
Molly's
like,
I'm cutting
Molly
down
goes,
on sugar.
yeah, I'm cutting down on sugar too. And so Noah's like, she can make some quinoa.
I'll run with some tail and water. It's like,
These are leftover jokes from a Jeff Foxworthy routine 15 years ago.
Yes, it's true.
It's about kale and quinoa.
like also at what point do you have to like read between the lines and say she's just trying to be polite and say I have no interest in eating with
Yeah.
you strangers.
Also,
Yeah.
I have like a general thing of going to people's for dinner. I hate when people make me come over and eat. I just don't like that. Like, do you want to come over and drink? Sure. But do you want to come over for dinner? No, you can't cook, fucker. Everybody knows you can't cook. And now I have to sit there and pretend that you know you can cook. We all know you
Exactly.
can't
Or
cook.
you're going to try to prove to me you can cook, and it's going to be
Right.
overly fancy, and I'm going to have to
Restaurant.
I'm going to have
Also-
to. Yeah.
It's not
Restaurants.
unrealistic for her to turn this down. She is going to Hawaii. She's allegedly going to Hawaii, and I have to assume she has a nice bathing suit. And she's like, I don't think I want to eat like stuff myself with mashed potatoes and apple pie when I'm supposed to be, surfside tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So no,
It's
I
all
will
reasonable.
not like that. It's very reasonable. Very reasonable.
So they go in, and she, of course, stays for dinner because she's a sucker. And so everyone's like in Christmas colors. I don't know why I wrote that down. So they're having fried chicken, mashed
everyone
potatoes. Yeah, and she's nibbling one little green bean.
Yeah.
And
which is so
girl.
obnoxious that that's what they served her. Like, we're just going to give you some green beans. Like, condescending.
It's ridiculous.
That's all she would eat is a green bean. So she's like nibbling it. So she's like, so you and my mom were friends, Kim? And she's like, oh, not at first. We fell for the same boy. And then it turned out he didn't like either one of us. That was fine.
I did not see that story going there.
It didn't really add it. It's like, okay, so basically you thought
So
her
we
mom was a
became
bitch at
friends.
first.
Like
and
they
Yeah.
really could have done like, oh yeah, we were interested in this boy. I had a group of friends, me, your mom, and then the music turns. She's like, B at the bakery, and then this could become like a whole Watcher in the Woods type of thing. And Betty Davis could have shown up, and this movie would have blown up.
Well, I definitely wanted it to end with like, it turned out he liked someone else. I did fuck your daddy, though.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah, it was such a strange, like
He had
semi-scandalous
beautiful hands, that
backstory.
man.
because
that
they
didn't-
kind of, well, this is giving things away, but spoiler alert: when Dad comes back at the very end, they have chemistry,
They do.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
I
totally.
actually, for a moment, thought Kim's her mom, right? Kim's her mom.
I thought for a minute,
so
I'm like,
fish.
wait, is Noah her brother?
I was hoping for
okay.
that. I was really hoping for that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, why do I have a boner.
I
Must
know.
be the weather.
You know what?
So, Noah's
it's
like,
not
his-
your. It's not your fault, Ronnie, because all gay porn does is tell us that incest is best these days.
This
I
makes
think
me
all
feel better
porn
about my
and
DP
tattoos-
comment. Thank you.
And all tattoos are acceptable.
And all
Listen,
tattoos
straight
are
porn is
acceptable.
no better. We've all clicked on the regular Pornhub logo at some point.
Yeah.
Once.
Every
Once.
single, they are disgusting straight people. I'm sorry, straight guys specifically. It's all like, my daughter just got home from school. What the hell? Every single, it's like,
go see her
grandpa's mad
grandpa.
about my report card. Like, ew.
Ugh.
On that note, so we now get some more exposition. And
do.
because this entire movie is exposition. They just never finish explaining things.
No.
So she's like, so how long have you been here, lady who does not accommodate guests and only serves them green beans? And Kim is like, well, when your mom, Sarah, moved off to school in California, she wanted someone she knew to take care of the place. And I don't think she ever really wanted to sell. I mean, so when my late husband and I decided to expand our mint business, she convinced us to move here. And it's been our home ever since.
This was some heavy lifting.
This was
Yeah.
a lot of
It
heavy
was.
lifting. So
Yeah,
this
it
mint
was.
business has been in the family, in the Winter
But
family.
Kim is such, oh yeah, the Winter family. And I like that they pronounce it like winter, but they can't pay their rent. Also, Kim is really manipulative that she's like, your mom, she just never wanted to sell the place. So that's why I'm
She
here.
never did.
why
Following-
I'm here.
Kim.
Following
You
those
can't-
silly
you can't
California
kick us
dreams
out.
of hers.
When I
Yeah.
think about it, I think kudos to that actor because I think she's the only person that had subtext in this entire film.
Oh, definitely.
right.
She's the only one who thought about it. When I'm sometimes in the house by myself at night, I see what I think is your mother. never.
Surely you couldn't sell.
Surely. Would you like a brownie bite? I picked them up today.
It's funny.
Yeah, Reed just pops up from behind the table.
Yeah.
She's like, hello.
Hello.
So then Noah's like, so what exactly do you do in Los Angeles? And she goes, oh, I'm doing a new partnership with my best friend Gracie. She's going through a really tough time right now. You'll probably meet her. Just disregard her. But
I'm going to tell you all about her, even though you don't know her.
we're developing a
Yeah.
line of organic baby products, but my day job is director of marketing for Gallant Resorts.
And he's like, what? Kim, he goes, huh? And Kim's like, what does that mean? Really, Kim?
Come on,
really?
Kim.
You have a mint business and you don't know.
Well,
what
obviously
marketing
it's
is?
failing because they don't have a marketing
I
director.
don't think
True.
Kim is really into the business again because
She's
her
still
reaction.
stuck in the past.
She's still stuck in the past, so I don't think
She is.
Kim just wants to fuck her dad.
Yeah. I figured, I thought they were going to set up, and they actually didn't, to their credit, they didn't really do this. I thought they were going to set up to one of those things where, like, the lady from the city has that sort of generic corporate job where it's like, what do you do? I don't do anything. Like Richard Gere in Pretty Woman. I don't do
yeah.
anything.
Like
'cause
Chandler, yeah.
I'm not real, right? I'm not tangible. I'm not building things, you know?
Did you get it when Dakota, who may or may not be slow, said, "Hey, do you see celebrities?"
God.
And so she said, once we may have rented, someone I heard may have rented a room to Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, if this were real, Dakota would have said, "Who?
Who? My thought exactly. She'd be like,
Yeah.
who is
Who's
that?
that?
No, but y'all, I'm
Sounds
telling you,
old."
people that above like 40 and up in like smaller town, Leo DiCaprio is like because of fucking Gangs of
Titanic.
New York
But
and Wolf of
she's-
Wall Street.
She's 14.
Oh, Wolf of Wall
I know,
That's
but
what
I'm telling
saying.
you, because
I
it
think-
is the same. I remember when I was in Oklahoma and I was working on my computer, and because I was there for a long time, and one of my dad's friends came over, and my dad said, "What's Matthew doing?" And my dad said, "I've never seen anything like he just types on that thing, and that's work." Beats me.
Listen.
all I could ever see. Like he doesn't get it. Wait, maybe this movie's made for Chelsea. But he does not get it.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
funny.
Her like trying to impress this teen with a Leonardo DiCaprio reference. That's like us being like in 1984, 85, and someone being like, "Guess who I just saw? Robert Redford." You're like, okay.
Yeah, like
know
who
what?
cares? But also, if she was really like an LA type, she wouldn't be bragging about
No.
Leo DiCaprio because
No.
he's like a huge perv and probably going to be canceled at any moment
Right.
for God, God
she-
knows what.
If
know-
she were a professional, she would not be doing this either.
No. Once about 3 years ago, we rented a room to Kevin Spacey. It was really impressive. He's a great guy.
A great guy. Yeah.
And before that, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's lovely.
So then Molly's like, so what do you guys do here that's causing you to not pay your rent? And Noah goes, oh, well, we host our annual Winter's Mint Christmas Eve party every year. It's a potluck. Come on, come all. So first of all, I just want to say, you're behind on your rent. Like, do not be hosting a
Let's
giant
host
potluck.
a huge party for
Also,
the entire town.
There was nothing when we do finally get to this party. There was nothing about it that said potluck. This was not a potluck that you hosted,
No.
sir.
It was
And
like
there
a formal occasion.
And there weren't even a lot of people there. You know what I mean?
Just like you bought stereo equipment. That's what
Yes.
you did.
there wasn't even like accent lighting like you have.
No.
It was so awful.
It was like they set up for a Michael Bublé concert and he never arrived.
Speaking of a Michael Bublé concert, it's time to end this episode.
Oh my God. Oh wow. We're really killing it, guys.
I think we're now 17
we made
minutes
some good
into
progress.
We made some good progress.
I will
progress.
say
Accelerating.
most of the middle part of the movie is boring exposition still.
Middle?
So
Yeah.
You mean the rest of it? It's like the first 20 minutes of everything, and then it just peters out like a bad hand job.
And then it like
Well, in
recaps
case
as
anybody-
it goes along, but also
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
previously
at
happened.
least with unlike a hand job, something good actually happens at the end. Maybe.
Oh my God, I don't
Allegedly.
like those either. It's just like, stop. I feel like you're pacing me. It's like you're a metronome, you know? Like, stop.
Gung.
Yeah, just lay there. That's all I need. Sorry. Please don't be listening to this in the car with your children. But
Too
also,
late.
for those of you who can't join us for the end of this because you have family obligations, they all die. So thanks for being here.
Reed Drummond takes them all.
You guys, thank you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow with another installment of the Candy Coated Christmas Recap with a little crossover event. Bye, everyone.
Bye.